The military, I think, is a great option for many people for different reasons. At my core, I believe every citizen of the Republic should do some service. It doesn't have to be military. It could be a teacher. It could be a firefighter.
I agree.
There are lots of things you can do. But as a Republic, we're not going to be viable unless you have this common identification of supporting the Republic. So for me, that was going into the military, the Navy. My grandfather had been in it, so I liked to sail boats. I thought, well, that'd be cool. And then going to the Naval Academy, I was fortunate to get in. It's a pretty competitive process. And I thought, well, if I'm going to go to the Navy, I'm going to try to go in the institution that tracks you to become the admiral one day. And what's really fun now is to see my friends who we were all graduated in 1990. The people that are still in are 2- and 3-star admirals. And I have a guy who's taking over Fifth Fleet in Japan. And he and I were together in English classes. And it's just awesome to see what these folks have been able to do. I ended up getting out for a variety of reasons, but I had been teaching at the Naval Academy at the time, had taken a Master of Arts in liberal arts at a Great Books program, thought I was going to teach. And it was my first lesson in business in terms of supply and demand. There's a whole lot of supply of English folks with PhDs, and there isn't a whole lot of demand.
Yes, there are, including my sister and her daughter, who is soon to be a PhD in English.
Yeah, and it's almost a disservice that universities do for taking the money and cranking out these PhDs into a job market which doesn't exist.
Yeah.
I was getting paid more as a lieutenant in the Naval Academy than we were offering tenure track positions. And this is in 1995, 1997. And so it's really, I was like, this isn't going to work.
Mm-hmm.
So where do I go? Right. Into industry, law school, or business school. I had the good fortune to get into Harvard Business School. And at that point, as I will tell people, if you can get into one of the top 5 business schools, no matter what, go. It is transformative. The types of jobs I've had, the exposures I've had, I just would not have been the same if I hadn't gone. It was a great opportunity. At that time, I was in business school 98 to 2000, which was the heyday of the internet, if you remember. So 97 was when everyone was going nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you were in business school, you had missed the boat. There was no way you were going to be successful. Everybody else was going to be rich and done. And I left in 2000. The choice I faced was I wanted to get into the internet. There were only 3 business models that were making money in the internet at the time: porn, gambling, and advertising.
Right.
And I don't think I could tell my mom that I was going to go into porn. Yeah, right. And advertising, I thought, was really interesting, Carol, because the promise of internet at the time was it was going to be a democratizing force. It was going to provide access to information and promote conversations and interactions across silos. And unfortunately, fast forward 20-something years, you see that primarily in social media, you have people ending up in their siloed echo chambers. But at that time, we thought what we were doing was creating access and democratizing the internet.
Carol Schultz here. Thanks for watching this excerpt from Authentically Successful. The conversation doesn't end there. So if you want to hear this episode in full and all my conversations with many other successful founders and CEOs, please visit verticalelevation.com/podcast.